starting, summer trade, which has historically been kind of slow. So we have to pick our spots, and you never know when we're going to get some volatility. Like yesterday was a classic example. And so we have to be careful and trade accordingly and keep your stops in place so we don't get run over by any one of these, and then get ready for the next opportunity when it presents itself. So let's give you our levels for this morning, and we'll see what brings us, what the day brings. Our pivot this morning is 4206. Resistance at 14, at 22, 29, and 34. Support below at even, 92, 83, and 74. Pivot 4206, support 42 even, 41.92, 83, 74, resistance on the upside at 14, 22, 29, and 34. All right, welcome to some of the new folks that are in here. We are trading mini S&Ps. We are trying to take advantage of ebbs and flows of the market, as we don't believe markets go straight up or straight down. Consequently, we're looking for those inflection points that give us an opportunity to scalp the market for about 2 to 3 points. Also, likewise, the stops are in that same category so that we can stay focused and always look for the next opportunity as the market kind of drifts down here a little bit early on. Support level is the even area. All right, so that's what we try to do here on an everyday basis, trying to take advantage of ebbs and flows of the market. We use the levels that we give out, and if you look at the chat box area, you'll be able to find those levels, I hope. And if you do, you can use those as a guide. They're only as a guide. They're there to we can add to them, subtract from them, sometimes adjust them, tweak them. It all depends on what the price action is telling us at any given moment. The levels hopefully will be printed here in a second. Just give everybody a minute here, hopefully. If not, I'll repeat the levels for us. Our pivot this morning is 4206, 4206. Support at 42 even, 92, 83, 74. Resistance on the upside at 14, 22. There they are, 29 and 34. Those are the levels in the chat box right now. If you have the chat box area up, you can get those levels. And there they are for. Thanks again, Mark. I appreciate it, as the market kind of swiftly comes down here to the 42 even area. So again, they're there for a guide. It's like just like a game plan, so to speak, for the day. And again, we can adjust those game plans. We depending on the situation of the game and the situation of the day. We don't know what kind of volatility we're going to get day to day or not, and so consequently, we're always at the mercy of volatility on any given day, and we have to take that into consideration as we're trading. Now, we say that it's an area, so if we scalp around an area, you scale into an area. I mean, we're not going to be perfect. We had 42 even. We got down all the way here down to a 1, and then bounced back up here a little bit. Still on the same bar, so we'll see what happens here. Again, you can adjust those levels according to the price action. You can tweak them a little bit if necessary. And again, sometimes I'll tell you when you should. And again, any kind of tweaking to any level is all dependent on each individual's risk tolerance, how they scale in, how they scale out, what you're looking for as far as profit targets are concerned. And everybody's got different risk tolerances, as you can imagine. And so we have to take that in consideration as you're trading. So all these different areas of trading come into play, concepts and ideas that you have to consider as you're trading. as we come down here to the 42 area. See what it wants to do down here. Trying to get a little bit of a rotation off of that level. Again, we keep our stops in. We don't know when the market's going to give us an opportunity to trade or not. And if it does, then we have to trade around that level. Obviously, if it's support level, we believe that the market will find a little support area there and rotate. And if not, then we just keep our stop in place and then we look for the next opportunity. But like I said, the levels are just the guide for the day. And that's how we kind of trade around there every day, looking for opportunities to scalp. All right. We are also dependent on news, right? Obviously, when reports are released that's going to affect the market, affect us, we have to be cognizant of the fact that the news is out there and how it's going to be handled by the market. And today, as far as what news is out there, are going to be released today during the day, is very, there's not much actually. But there is going to be on Friday, right? Friday is going to be our big news day as we rotate nicely here off of our 42 area, trying to anyway, 42 even area, I should say. Trying to anyway. So Friday is a big news day because of the fact that there's going to be unemployment released that day. And that's obviously going to be a big fundamental news that's going to affect the market. Today, though, we have nothing as far as that is concerned. Pretty quiet on the news front, but we did have ADP come out this morning, which is a precursor to unemployment on Friday. And the market really rallied a little bit there. You know, that was a little rotation to the upside there off of the ADP number. We're just kind of hanging here against the level, so it's kind of not giving us any much of a rotation. So we got to be a little bit mindful of that. And see what it wants to do. Sometimes it just gets very, very stubborn, right? It's just there, it's just working it. That's what we're doing right here. All right. Seems to be a little bit of support here since it's just hanging here for a little bit. But again, just keep your stops in place because if we don't get the rotation we're looking for, you know, especially in a timely manner, the market might say, okay, you know, let's look at something else. So we have to consider time factor in any of our trades. And that's what we're doing here. It's always a consideration. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. We are looking to scalp the market against our levels. And we put those levels out in the chat box area, as you saw. And now we're just kind of working this 42 even area. Trying to see what it wants to do down here. So no economic reports coming out today. And obviously, like I said, unemployment on Friday is going to be the big one that's going to create some volatility and probably the only really good viable piece of information that could affect the market here for a bit. We shall see. But that is going to be released on Friday morning before we open up. So we're slowly dripping down here again, kind of testing this 42 lever maybe, and you can keep your stop in place so we don't get too carried away by any trade. Sometimes the market just gets stubborn. It's just not, and especially when it gets like this where it's not really doing anything but slowly down ticking, you don't want to get caught with anything because you think you can just like, you know, so just keep your stop in place and then we'll look for the next opportunity. It's all we can do here. And again, when it kind of hung there for a little bit, I was hinting at time factor. was being a little bit, this is what happens when it gets like this one. It's not giving us anything. It was trying to give us something, but it wasn't giving us much. So it was hinting that maybe you should have gotten out of a little bit if you had multiple contracts, but we'll see what happens. There are the levels again in the chat box area for you. Thanks again, Mark. Appreciate it. As kind of just still here working this 42 even area. Again, we get here, we've been down here for about 10 minutes. If you want to exit some of your contracts, if you have multiple contracts, you can do that because just kind of lighten up the load. I know there, Don, I understand. I understand. It's frustrating. It's kind of hanging here. A lot of value in this little area here, but it's just not doing anything. Slowly, a little bit heavy. That's why you got to be a little bit careful and make sure you keep your stops in place. You don't want to get caught up in this for no reason. Because we just never know. Never know what's going to happen. Don, is it going to be possible for you to chip in tomorrow morning for me? Yeah, I will be able to, start with the levels, and then I have to take off really quick after that. I got something going on afterwards. No, not a golf game, but something else going on. So I have to scamper out of here a little bit. All right, so we're getting a little bit of a pop back up here against our 42 even area. Remember, we talk about 3-point stop, something in that range, and kind of just make you work for it. That's for sure. That's what it did. That's what it's doing right here. Definitely making you work for it. But it really wasn't doing anything. But like I said, just have to be a little bit patient and keep your stop in place. And we got down to 98, and hopefully you were able to just stick with it. We set 2-3 points. Maybe you were able to stay with it. If you did get stopped out, that's fine. If you got in at the lower end, it's better. And now we're getting a little bit of rotation here off of this 42 area. It looks like it's going to be one of those patient days, which are tough to trade sometimes. The settlement price there, if you were trading it, did hold. Maybe you scaled in there against it also. Some of you settlement pricers did well with that too. So that kind of kept me in the game there for me. All right, so now we're just kind of hanging here. Again, we're scaling in, and you can scale out, take some profits along the way as well. The settlement price was 50, right? 98.50. So that's probably why you didn't get filled there, Don. The latest cyber attack on American supply chain was felt yesterday as JBS, the biggest meat producer in the United States and the world, reported a ransomware breach that shut down all its beef facilities. As we're trying to turn over here against our 42 area, the company's meatpacking plant also experienced some level of disruption due to the hack, which was attributed to a notorious criminal gang based out of Russia. ABS sells beef and pork under the Swift brand and is also owner of Pilgrim Pride and the second largest chicken producer. As we're getting a nice rotation here against our 42 area. Just in time for, this is meat market analysts to say plant closures from JBS hack could soon lead to higher consumer prices, which has increased for many cuts this year, beef cuts, because of high demand, labor shortages, and high transportation costs. In fact, cattle futures trading in Chicago fell on Tuesday, with the most active contract closing down 1.9 to nearly $1.17 a pound. Shorting the O2. No, I would not short the O2. I would get out of my trade at O2, but I don't think I would short O2. But there's no reason really to trade. Maybe if you're looking at our blue band, if you're looking at something, then our pivot is above it. So this thing has got to be resolved, this like cyber attack stuff, because it is getting to be 3 weeks ago they had the Colonial Pipeline operator of the biggest gasoline pipeline was targeted with a ransom attack which crippled fuel delivery and sent prices soaring on the East Coast, Southeast it says here, but I think it was all the East Coast. So it is becoming, it's going to get a little bit more of a problem here. I better get cracking on this situation. That's what happens when these computers take over. I mean, you got to believe that these companies have the best, well, you would think, well, I don't know. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, so let's just be quiet, but it is getting a little bit nuts here. When are they going to attack the grid next? And I really have a bit of a problem here. U.S. stock futures were muted again overnight following a flat session on Wall Street on Tuesday. The sit tight mentality, oh boy, that's not good for us. As we come up here to our blue band area, if you're a blue bander, the sit tight mentality is being reflected in the broader market as traders continue to pound inflation risks, rebounding consumer demand, supply bottlenecks, and red hot manufacturing. Some other catalysts might be seen in coming sessions when the Labor Department releases a jobs report before the high-profile FOMC meetings set for mid-June. So this is really trouble when they're talking about the FOMC meeting. It's not going to happen till the middle of June, but they're talking about it at the beginning of June. That's how much excitement they're expecting in this market. It's not good. But anyway, we have a nice rotation there against our 40 support there at 42. Hopefully you were able to stick with it. It had to be a little bit patient there. It was just kind of hanging, just teasing you. And then finally decided to move forward, and you got a nice rotation here off of it. And if you want to try to stay long, I would get out here at the 6 area and then be happy with that nice rotation, and then look, see, maybe if you're really aggressive, wait till 14. But that's being extra aggressive here, considering how slow the markets have been lately and how tight the ranges have been. But if we can manage to take a little bit, again, you're scaling in. So some of you have got multiple contracts. You're able to take peel some profits off and make some money against the trade. In other words, and then have a trailing stop. Right now, if it gets below 01, I would be out of any longs. And let's see what happens. That's the kind of trailing stop you would have if you're looking at the market setting those trailing stops for you. Yes, inflation will overshoot in the short term, but the Fed is cognizant of that risk, and they are looking at the dual target of full employment and inflation, said some senior analysts someplace. So that made investors less concerned potentially about the pace of Fed's tapering this year, focusing more on the pace of reopening this year and leaving the concerns about tapering for next year and beyond. Okay, you guys are all smart, telling us what's going to happen, what they're thinking. All right, we've come up here. Nice rotation there off of our even area. Hopefully some of you were able to get long, stay long, and it was tough to stay long there. We can all agree on that, but it did give us a nice rotation. Finally, once we got above that 023 area, it did pop up a little. And now we're just kind of looking here at the 14 as our next good resistance area. All right, if you are going to have a trailing stop, again, you can have a 2 or 3 point trailing stop, or you can have the market set the stop for you. Right now, the stop would be at 01. So I guess the Beige Book is going to be released today. Beige Book is a report from all the different Fed banks. I think there's 12 or 13 of them. I'm not quite sure across the country. Investors will be eyeing the Fed's beige book this afternoon. The report offers a view on how businesses are faring in current industrial conditions, such as an overheating economy, inflationary pressures. The book is produced roughly 2 weeks before the Fed meets to set monetary policy, which is the single most influential event for the market. All right, the market is coming up and continues to have this nice little strong rotation off of our support area down there. Now we're coming back up here to these interim highs. Again, with next level on the upside we have is up at the 14 area. Cannabis legalization efforts continue to expand across the United States, and the movement just won another big backer, Amazon. Hey, the nation's second largest employer will no longer screen its workers for the drug, except for positions subject to U.S. regulations of the U.S. Department of Transportation, and will drop weed testing requirements for recruitments. Hey, what do you know? The news follows a lawsuit from March in which a New York man sued Amazon over a rescinded job offer because he tested positive for marijuana. And New York City banned employers from testing job applicants for cannabis in 2020. No smoke. We will continue to do impairment checks on jobs and will test for all drugs and alcohol after any incident, Amazon said in its blog. Well, it's about time, for heaven's sakes. All right, so we're just continuing to slowly rally here. Again, again, if you have try to keep you a little long here. If you're staying long, try to keep you a little long here, only because the market is giving us that. I would probably have stop there below 04 if we get below 4. Still, I mean, 01 is still the better stop, but you don't want to let so many points go by here given what the market is doing. So I'll just have like a nice little tightish. You want a better, 04 would be your area right now where I would adjust to get out of any longs if you're trying to stay long. All right, we're just kind of hanging now up here at these interim highs. And again, if you want a tighter stop, like I said, below 04. Probably, like I said, not a bad idea to take some profits there as well. And kind of keep your smallest amount for anything going higher. So to Friday is the unemployment number. Usually something big for the market. See what it wants to do Friday. The market is going to release that number before we open up. So we'll trade the after effect of that market, whatever that number is. And since the Fed is looking at jobs and employment, and the Fed is looking at inflation numbers, that's kind of one of the variables that might create some volatility in the market. So that'll be a kind of hopefully a big day. Hopefully, like I said, sometimes unemployment numbers are duds. Everybody's looking forward to it, and then nothing happens. So let's see. Today, though, we are still going to have some Fed speaks. They're going to be at 11 o'clock. Two of them are going to be talking at 11. Actually, three of them are going to be talking at 11. U.S. monetary policy is the topic, U.S. economic outlook, and the other one on might not affect us so much. Then at 1 o'clock, we do have the beige book. So that is kind of an F day kind of situation. So be a little bit careful there if you're going to be trading late in the afternoon. And for some of you folks that are here new, we kind of focus most of our trading opportunities for the morning hours, and we try to stay away from the late afternoon, as the ebbs and flows in the afternoon don't really affect us so much. Well, Sharon, welcome. This is what we do here. We do have an education package that gives you a game plan. We have a game plan with the levels that we've given out, and how to use them, how to get into the market, how to apply them to each day's opportunity. Everybody here has different risk tolerances, so we take that into consideration, and I would work with you individually to try to figure out, maximize your profit potential based on how many contracts you're going to trade and how much your account balances are and how much you're going to put into it, into your account, and so on and so forth. So even if you are new to this, we can help you with that too, as we have, we have broker friends of ours that we recommend that kind of help. This is futures trading. It's not options. So futures trading is a lot different than options. Definitely don't need as much capital to trade futures as you do options. And options is more of a kind of get into a position and hope and pray for a while. And usually they put on these fancy spreads, butterflies, condors, eagles, alligators, different names for them. Yeah. So, but those are options. It's an options market. But we trade futures. We're trying to take advantage of price action, which is what we're teaching. And the price action is the movement in the market. So we're getting long down at the 42 even area. And there was another reason to buy the 98.50 area. And given if we did get long at those two levels, then we're trying to keep you a little bit long here as the market rotated upwards. But we're trying to get 2 to 3 points, which in each point is worth about $50 for each one contract. So obviously, if you're trading 10, that would be $500. If you're trading 1, that'd be 50. And you would learn, obviously, with your smaller amounts here, because you need to learn what you're doing. Some of the biggest people are intrigued by trading, but they don't take the time or the opportunity to invest in education, and it gets them. They lose a little bit of money there because they don't know what's going on. So we try to explain what's happening with the equity market, which is the S&Ps, which is what we're trading in minis, which is the market on the right. And it's a very fluid, liquid market. There's opportunities there because the markets are moving around a little bit. Sometimes they move a little bit faster. Sometimes they move a little bit slower. We like it when there's some volatility in the market where the markets are moving around a little bit. That gives us ample chances. Even if we don't make money on one trade, we have another opportunity on the other. And we minimize our risk by making sure we keep our stops in place. Stops are about 2 to 3 points, like I said. And again, what your stops are and how you place them and how you get in and out of them are all part of what we try to teach here. So if any of this stuff interests you, please let us know and we can try to help you if you're interested in trading futures. That's what we try to do here. So it's a fascinating place to be, I'll be honest with you, since I've been doing it for a long time. And obviously I was trading on the floor of the exchange, but then they shut the floor down. Shut the floor down. Shut the floor down. I like that. Yeah. All right. Anyway, that's where we're at. All right, so that's all the news. So there's not much. Well, I would be long and then keep a stop in at 04, 3.5, something like that. If you're looking for a trade. So we try to be patient here and wait for the opportunities because it's not, markets have to, sometimes are whipping around like crazy and you get multiple opportunities all over the place. And it's kind of fun. You're focused on the market. And then there are times when the market is just slow. And those are times where you have to be patient and wait for the opportunities to present themselves so that you don't waste money trading and just creating some fees to the brokerage houses and the exchanges. Bond market kind of not really doing much. All right. Market is going to try to bounce off of our blue band there. case you're a blue band there this time around, it's working out very nicely for you. And you get long there against the blue band and or our pivot. You're doing okay with that. Again, there's price action opportunities that occur, and that's what we're trying to sometimes find, and they are there for us, and you have to be a little bit patient and wait for the market to kind of rotate and give you those chances. And again, you got to remember that we focus more on the morning hours. We get good bang for our money in those times. As the trade in the afternoon gets a little bit more not as conducive to the concepts and ideas that we like to teach. So we kind of focus more on the morning hours, first couple of hours in the morning, 2-3 hours, depending on how busy we are. And again, every day is different. Every day is a new day here. That's the beauty of trading. I know so it's not your 9-to-5 job where you're expecting to get. This is like learning how to do something and being able to take advantage of those opportunities when the market presents those opportunities for us. And how we find those opportunities obviously is the part of our education course that we like to teach. And so anything that I say as far as support or resistance or any concepts of trade are not just spoken for, there's people who are trading the same way as I am and understand what they're looking for. Sometimes, you see the numbers are flickering on the screen and you don't know what to do with them. Well, that's what we're trying to do, some clarification to those numbers and the volatility. And like I said, sometimes it's easier to read. Sometimes the market just is not cooperating. And we also like it when believe it or not, when markets go down. The ebbs and flows when the markets are reversing or going to the downside are greater, and the opportunities are greater in those situations than they are when the markets are slowly upticking like they have been lately. So again, we're just kind of hanging here around our pivot. That doesn't really bode too well for the rest of the day. I wish I could tell you it does, but it doesn't. But we're just kind of hanging here. And again, we cannot create trades, right? We have to wait for the market to give us those opportunities. That's basically about it. And so again, we did have a little buying opportunity there against our blue band, against our pivot area. We did get up to the 8 area here. So if you were a little aggressive, maybe you dipped your toe, bought some there against our blue band there at 05. What is the Vix trading at there, Don? Can you let me know? Anybody can let me know if the Vix is what the Vix is trading at. All right, we got a nice rotation here off of the again blue band 06 area, which is our pivot. We had a little buying opportunity down there. Now we don't always buy the pivot or sell the pivot. It all depends on the price action, like I keep saying. $17.45, something in that range. Wow, that's it's not bad actually. That's very slow. We like to have the VIX up in the mid-20s. I think might even be happy if this continues with the VIX being around 17. Let's hope not. We'll see. You never know. All right, nice rotation there against our support area there at our pivots that are blue band. Maybe some of you took advantage of that trade. Once in a while, this stuff works, every now and then, I have to say. And it works a lot more than every once in a while. So it's just a matter of being consistent and staying focused and waiting for the opportunities. And making sure you keep your stop in there, because obviously that's key too. All right, so we did have a little buying opportunity down there at our pivot, at our 05, and then we had a nice rotation here off of that. And our next level of resistance would be up at the 14 area. If you're trying to stay long against that level, have a trailing stop. All the positions you have in play, I think you have to If you see that arrow up on top there, click the arrow up on top, and then next to the, next to your, on the bar. And it brings down another window. Do you see where I'm talking about? Okay, and then it gives you order book, market history, a whole bunch of other, different options. So if you go to the order book, that'll give you what you got going in there. Yes, no, maybe. Okay. All right. Hopefully that helps. All right, we dip down to our blue pen. Nice rotation off of it. It's holding that very nicely for us. Very, very quiet, as you can tell. They pulled the plug here a little bit. They came up here and just kind of holding. And it looks like it maybe wants to continue to rally. But again, keep your stop in. Anything below 04, you want to be out of any longs. All right. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to write them down in the chat box area. I'll be glad to answer them for you. If you have any comments, thoughts, ideas. Again, we focus more on the morning hours. As you can tell here, that these days markets get a little bit quieter as the day goes on. No, would not be, no. I mean, that's where I would get out of any longs if you have them, but That's, we go back to the same thing we talked about yesterday, respecting the resistance area. I might go through, but we still have to respect the resistance area. Next level of resistance we have is up at the 14 area. Well, the settlement price is more of a kind of a psychological thing. It's like going and retesting overnight high or low. And if you trade off of a settlement price and you come back to it, the settlement price is a settlement price for a reason, right? Obviously, it's the previous day's level, and becomes a level that you have to consider because of the fact that if the market trades away from it, there is going to be some. You would have to figure that some people got long or short based on the settlement price because their statement is going to be tied to the settlement price, right? So sometimes if the market opens up against you and rotates back to the settlement price, some people are saying, "Oh, if I can just get back to this, I'll be just happy," right? And so it's kind of more of a psychological point of thing where people understand, because if they have a position on, or they had a position on, and the market opened higher or lower and came back to it, at least they know where they're at. And like I said, it's more psychological sometimes than anything else. I wish I could trade the bonds anymore, but I don't. They become a very a quiet one-way trade. There's no good ebbs and flows there. But we do have them to help us with the equity market. We try to trade the ES for about a couple hours during the morning. I think especially these days where the markets get slower. Obviously, if the markets get more active, we stay a little bit longer. But we also feel that the ebbs and flows, as far as what we're trying to teach, and the concepts and ideas of where we're at, the dynamics of the morning market are different than the dynamics of the afternoon, and consequently, we are more focused to try to stay on those ideas than trying to create some new trades for the afternoon, because most of the afternoon trades become a little bit more one-sided. There's fewer traders. The volume is a little less. So the dynamics of the afternoon trades are definitely different than dynamics in the morning. And so with what we're trying to do, we kind of focus more on the morning hours. So 2 to 3 hours in the morning. Sometimes, obviously, if the markets are moving around a little bit, there's more. We stay longer, but these days it's kind of tough to get too excited about the volatility in the market, because there's not much. All right, we try to extend here a little bit. If you're trying to keep you along there against that 6, it did dip back down there. Maybe give you a chance to buy it again. Again, I said anything below 04 out of any long. So we did come back down there, tested that 5, 6, the 6 area, and then come back up here. So if you did get long there, if you were trying to stay long, or if you wanted to get long, we said below 04. That's where we're at. All right, again, we talked about the 6 area being a little support. We gave you an exit strategy below 04. Maybe you were able to get long there. Again, these are price action opportunities that occur once the market paints some bars and kind of dictates what we're looking at. And also gave you our stop, and now we're targeting here the 14 area. Remember, now we're getting into this rally market, which again doesn't bode too well for what we try to do. So just putting it out there to be a little bit careful. Obviously, if you're long here, looking for the 14 would be more optimal. Sometimes the dynamics of the market are it doesn't susceptible to what we're trying to do. So sometimes we just need to try to get you long into a level instead of trying to trade the level and see if we get a rotation. So it just seems like we're going to get into that little rally mode, which again doesn't bode too well for us. course, again, if there's news that comes out, it creates a little bit of a pop, one way or the other, like it's doing now. That's kind of nice, but it is what it is. So again, anything below 04 out of any longs, that still stays. And where you get in is up to you. Yeah, I mean, it's 14 still viable. But again, I don't know if we're going to get our 2 points rotation just because of the dynamics of the trade, unfortunately. Well, just take the trade. It's a level, work the level, see what happens. Depending on how long it's there, maybe take a point out of it if it gives you a point. If it stays up there for a long time, doesn't move, maybe scratch it. You just got to take your key from what the market is doing. Like I said, sometimes it's a little bit easier, but we're getting into these rally modes. But so they're very tough trade right now. Try to get you long. Again, support would be right now around, if you wanted to get in a little bit better than 06, probably be around the 08 area. If you're looking for a little dip, maybe that's what you would be looking for.
Hey, a couple quick programming notes. We're now into the 10:30 hour. Wanted to welcome those coming in as guests. You have the opportunity to sign up as members at a discounted rate. I'm going to send it out to you in chat, in Zoom. That's out to everybody now. Hey, Chad, welcome. Good morning. I missed you before. Hey, Tim S., let me know good time to reach out to you on the telephone. Hey, Roy E., Laura H., let me know if you surface, Laura. Hey, Ian. Gary A., welcome back. Hey, Gary, how are you making out? Did you sign up for Sol's monthly, Gary? Just let me know back in chat. Brett, let me know if you had signed up for Sol's monthly. Hey, Abe, welcome. Good morning. Choose a chat feature to respond. We run from about 9 a.m. to 11:30-ish. If you're not done by then and have banked your money for the day, definitely reach out to us. Start out in chat, then we'll follow up with you personally. Make sure you sign up for Sol's monthly membership here in the Zoom trade along. Right now it's on Friends and Family Special. Take a moment to sign up for it. I'll look for you in the background. And Tim S., just let me know best time for you.
All right, we did get a little rotation there. We said the 08 would be a little bit of a buying opportunity for you. We did get popped back up to above the 10 there. So a little scalp here in the middle of kind of a slowish kind of morning, but we've had a couple good opportunities. If you've just been patient a little bit, again, the market just kind of giving us, it's not bad considering how slow it is to give us a couple good opportunities here this morning. So we're kind of goofy sort of way, kind of lucky. We dipped down to our 06 earlier and had a nice rotation up. Then we came back down here to the 08 and a little rotation off of that. And again, it's just a matter of being patient and waiting for opportunities to present themselves in the market. That's all we can do. And again, any levels or any trades that I might have suggested, there's a reason for it. We like to layer in reasons for our trades, and obviously we show you what those reasons are and explain to you why they should work, and then where your exit strategy is in case we're not right. And that's what we try to do here on an everyday basis. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask as we're coming down here to the end of our morning session. and we've had a few nice opportunities against our first support level down there at the even area. Then we had a couple buying opportunities against our pivot area, and then up against another rotation here off of the dip down to 08. So we've been okay. And again, sometimes it's slow, but the markets gives us those opportunities. As we rotate back up here to the highs again, we got you, hopefully maybe got you a little long there against the 08, and a nice rotation off of that. And now we're just kind of seeing what it wants to do up here against, yeah, I agree with you there, Don. So you good for tomorrow? Okay, great. Again, I'll be here in the morning, and then we'll hand off the baton. Hey, Mark, are you going to be around, Mark? I got your wingman there, Don. He is chomping at the bit to get involved. Mark, wait, I got to ask Don. Don, do you want Mark to be? Oh, let's go, he said. Let's go. All right, you're in tomorrow, Mark. Make sure your daughter doesn't put Play-Doh in your headset so it's workable. All right. The tag team is back. All right. That's kind of cool, actually. You guys will be entertaining everybody for me. Much easier to do it with two people talking than it is with just me, as you can imagine. It's got to be boring for me to be talking, for you guys to be listening to me all the time. All right, we tried to get you along there a couple places, given what's going on in the market, and you can see how slow it is. Let's be very patient there. Keep your stops in against our levels on the upside, only because of the dynamics of the market. And, like I said, we tried to get you along, maybe have a trailing stop, and see if we can't get up to the 14 area off of the 08. That'd be kind of nice. Otherwise, just take some profits and then look at Don. It's hilarious, Don. It's just too funny. Look at you guys. Honestly, you can talk in front of me any day you want, too. It doesn't matter by me. See what? Oh no, yeah, you pipe in now too. Oh God. Okay. Just listen, both of you. I got a lot of stuff on you, so if I hear stuff coming back, I get carried away. But hey, go ahead, knock your socks off. All right, we're on the highs here, trying to keep you a little bit long. We're looking for the 14. If you're going to scalp it, just see what the market does up there. Is that what they say in Texas? All right, well, we got a double top up there, 12 and a half. So be a little bit careful on 14. Maybe take the upper end of the range there. Only because of the dynamics there. Because now it becomes a little trade here. So be a little bit careful up there around the 14 area. It's just changed. All right, get back here in a bit.